This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. How are you feeling, my friend? You feeling good?
A little bit better, Big O. Certainly better than the last time I saw you. Thanks for asking.
All right, good, man, good. Yeah, you sound like you still have that cold. Is there? Of course, it's those things end up lasting for a little while. So, good thing is you're on the road to recovery now. All right. First of all, let's go over quickly on the Deshaun Watson thing. What'd you think of how things have turned out so far now for him?
Well, it's not, shocking to me that he's not going to be criminally charged. I heard you talking just a moment ago. It's often hard to get criminal charges. Does not mean that he did not act inappropriately. Does not mean that he did not do things that may very well have risen to a criminal level. But to get that conviction certainly was going to be very, very difficult. It is very fascinating that the Dolphins were heavily interested in Deshaun Watson prior to the conclusion of the legal portion of Watson's dilemma. And now, when the legal portion of Watson's dilemma has been resolved, the Dolphins have proclaimed themselves out. I saw Dave Hyde wrote a column asking why, what changed. I have some thoughts. You may have addressed this in your show. What do you think changed? Just Brian Flores' departure?
Yes, I do. I think Brian Flores was the driving force behind all of this, and I think that maybe what's it called? The owner had some interest in it, but I think it was more about Brian Flores. And once they got rid of Brian Flores, I think the front office did a job of telling the owner, hey, I get it. This kid's fine. Just need to fix everything else around them on offense, and everything will work out. And I think the owner bought into that after Flo was all over him for Watson. So,
do you think the fact that owner Stephen Ross is being investigated by the National Football League relative to whether or not he was asking his coach to lose games for money, and the fact that the former coach is suing the NFL and numerous NFL teams, and that the coach is saying that race played a role in his dismissal from the Dolphins, do you think that those facts in any way contribute to them backing out on Deshaun? Like, in other words, the notion of like, all right, is like enough. There's so much of this negativity and toxicity and investigations and drama that, like, we don't need any more. Do you think there's any possible validity to that?
if he thought he was guilty, yes. But the way they've acted, they feel like he has no tangible evidence because they've been pretty cocky about this and pretty confident, and their statements have been pretty stout on how they feel about all of this. They've even called his accusations defamatory and irresponsible or something along those lines.
But there's off-field negativity, drama, toxicity, all those sort of things, and certainly any organization adding Deshaun Watson would have to answer additional questions, although his talent certainly would make it worth it. It's so hard to compete in the AFC. You have 6 unbelievably talented quarterbacks, and it's going to be really, really, really hard for any team that doesn't have one of those 6 quarterbacks to win. With Deshaun Watson, the Dolphins would have had a chance to be among that group. You notice the Dolphins just aren't being met. I think I saw some Vegas odds come out. They're the fourth longest shot to win the AFC. So expectations are very low. That is a good thing.
It is a good thing, but the problem with your theory is you make it sound like elite quarterbacks win every year. And that couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. You know what I mean?
Peyton Manning, you could go through the list of Super Bowl winners.
Peyton Manning
they are usually pretty good quarterbacks.
Peyton Manning was not elite the last time they won, and Nick Foles was not elite the last time they won. You know what I'm saying? You make it sound like every time there has to be an elite quarterback right there. And I got to say something. Matt Stafford, he wasn't like a dominant force in those in that Super Bowl. I would say more the Rams carried them than anything. He just did enough to help them win, but he wasn't anything marvelous or anything, earth shattering in that Super Bowl, my man.
I
So
thought that Matthew Stafford, as a Ram, played really well overall and elevated that franchise and was able to get that franchise over a hump that Jared Goff unfortunately wasn't able to do. Jared Goff would not have led that team to a Super Bowl victory.
I get that. But you don't really have it wasn't like he made a couple plays. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it was Cooper Kupp that I was more impressed with than I was Matt Stafford. If anything else, I was more impressed with the defense than I was Matt Stafford. But my point is, Trent Dilfer's won.
Yeah, but
You know
how
what I mean?
long ago was that? I mean, and the NFL has changed. It's not as much of a defensive game now.
Brother, Nick
It's
Foles
a
and
wide open passing game.
Nick Foles and Peyton Manning were in the last 6-7 years. Please don't tell me the NFL's changed. It's the same NFL. You have a great defense and you have a great offense line, and you can run the ball. Your quarterback just has to make some plays. He doesn't have to really carry you.
Listen, I like the idea that the Dolphins are going to go against the grain and try to establish the run because they've had such a pathetic run. And I like that. I like trying something different. The Dolphins hired a defensive-minded coach, and even though it didn't work out, there were improvements. The team had winning records, penalties were down, the perception of the franchise improved. So going against the grain when everyone else is passing and Mike McDaniel wants to make sure that they can run, I find that interesting.
No, I find that logical. There's no every team that can run and they're dominant running the ball, they make it super easy for their quarterback to actually get things done. That's been from the beginning of time. It doesn't matter what era you are in football. If you can run and punch people in the mouth, you're going to control the game. Your quarterback doesn't even have to carry you. That was the problem with the Dolphins. You had the elite quarterback. He was putting up all the yards, but you didn't have an elite offensive line. You didn't have an elite running game, and you didn't have an elite defense, because those are the factors that actually carry you more than the quarterback at times. Because we've watched actual quarterbacks that aren't that good go win the Super Bowl because the teams actually. I mean, look, Ryan Tannehill is the perfect example. Plenty over the last couple of years got suckered, and they kept thinking that Ryan Tannehill crossed the threshold, and he didn't cross jack. He was just riding the coattails of a great team, and all he had to do was facilitate. And to me, that's what I saw in Matt Stafford in the Super Bowl. He facilitated. He wasn't like, oh my God, he was a passing demon in that game. I didn't think that.
Now, there's a lot of layers here, but it is true that the Dolphins essentially chose Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa over Brian Flores and Deshaun Watson. Now, on paper, you'd probably go with Flores and Watson because of how good Watson is. You think, oh, he'll solve the offense. Flores will be a better defensive coordinator than Josh Boyer, even though Boyer, obviously would have, continued to hold the title. So that's going to be part of Dolphins lore here, Dolphins history, in the same way choosing Tagovailoa over Herbert will never be forgotten.
Yeah, well, again, you've already played it out. So that's I have not. Some of us have not. In your mind, and you always come on that way. It's you've given up on Tua. There's no shot for Tua in your eyes, because that's the way you talk about it.
I understand. I understand that that's your perception
That's
of
what
my
you're
words.
saying. You just said it was a mistake that they will have to stand with forever now. You said
Herbert over Tua, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, that ship has sailed. Yeah, clearly Burrow and Herbert are better than Tua. Now, I've said repeatedly that I think Tua will be.
Don't throw Burrow in there. They had no shot at Burrow. Okay, it's Herbert.
Yeah, I'm just talking about comparing guys from the same draft.
I know, but that's just piling on. That's just a pile on, is why because it's not the argument is Herbert and Tua because they were the ones that you could get. Burrow was not in the mix. And they tried to trade for Burrow, but they could not get him, obviously. But that's where you have, in your eyes, Tua is not going to get it done this year.
Now, Tua looks good in workouts. Now, here's the thing. A year ago, I wrote about how Tua looked good in workouts, how he looked healthy and his arm looked strong and his hip looks good. And so, it is good that he is getting healthier and getting stronger and gaining confidence. And I think that that's going to help him this year. But, when the bullets start flying, man, that's where Tua needs to be better. Under pressure, confusing defense, need to avoid a guy, go to the third read, all that stuff that he will tell you he needs to be better at. I will give Tua credit for this. He is honest about needing to improve. He is honest. He's not sitting there. Brock Osweiler once at the end of a horrific camp said that he thought he played great. And we're looking at this guy. I remember my friend Adam Beasley. He said to Brock Osweiler, like, what are you talking about, man? And he basically said, like, are you serious right now, Brock? Like, I love that you said that,
No, I'm with you. The only thing I disagreed on what you just said now was that Tua has to get better at avoiding. Dude, he played behind the worst line, and he was one of the
Well, that's why I'm excited. By the end of next week, I fully expect.
He was one of the least sacked quarterbacks behind one of the worst lines in the NFL, Joe.
Yeah, it's a run-pass option offense. You're not supposed to get sacked.
You mean a run-pass offense that can't run? I'm sorry.
Right, here's the thing.
Again, you blame him for the offense that can't run.
You should have Tua as a co-host. You should bring Tua on.
It's just
as your co-host.
I just laugh because
you stream in Hawaii.
Huh? Yes, we do, and we.
I guarantee you, your show is very popular in Hawaii and Alabama.
I can guarantee you, it is very popular in Hawaii because I see the stats. So yes,
the truth comes out. You're trying to garner followership in the great state of Hawaii.
You've known me for over 20 years. When do I have an opinion to try to garner any kind of attention from anybody, good or bad? You know me. When I have an opinion, it's my opinion. It's not driven by anything whatsoever, Joe. You should know that. You've known me for 20 years. I don't cater to anybody, dude, ever. I'm not catering to Tua. I like Tua. I believe in Tua.
All right, so listen. So by the end of next week, this is very exciting. This is going to create a pulse of enthusiasm and excitement that you have not seen in Dolphins land in years. They're going to add a left tackle. They're going to probably add a right guard or a right tackle. They're going to add a center. They're going to add a receiver, a running back, an edge, linebacker. All right. This is going to be a bonanza of enthusiasm and excitement. Spending like you haven't seen since the Patriots last year. This is the no excuse spending tour. This is the chef who says he's got nothing to cook with. And you go to the finest grocery store and pick up the finest meats and cheeses and vegetables, and you say, here you go. I brought you everything you wanted. No more excuses. Make me the best Michelin meal ever.
Yes.
So we agree.
If they can get that line and that running game going, I think Tua will be just fine. And then you'll be sitting there eating a lot of crow. And you'll be really like, damn, I overlooked this. I did not make.
What did I write? What did I write or say about Tua that you'll be able to pull out? What is it?
Oh, I can. No. All I have to do is pull out everything here from the show where you've given up on him completely. We have hundreds of sound bites already at this point. We've got you like down. I mean, what was it 2 weeks ago? Well, no, they should trade for they should sign one of the elite guys. And then go get an offensive line and a running game for him. You said that on the air. But for Tua, forget about it. He doesn't need an offensive line or running game. I already know who he is. He sucks. He doesn't need an offensive line or running game. Even if he gets it, it's not going to work out. You had us acquiring an elite player but then you wanted the elite player to have the offensive line in the running game that Tua doesn't.
All right, this is the same angle. It's monotonous. So do we have a different angle? What do we got?
No, I mean that's gonna be the lead dog in all of it right there. No, and
Yeah,
plus,
listen, I hope I
of
hope
course,
it works out.
mistake. Now you've already said it's a mistake in drafting Tua, so those.
Over Herbert? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, 99% of Americans would agree.
And then next year when
So
Herbert's
you're the one guy, you and Hawaii and Alabama.
and wait till Herbert's throwing like 27 interceptions next year, and then you all are going to freak out and you're going to go, oh, he's Jared Goff part 2, and then it's like one of those two. Oh, he reminds me a little of Jeff George, all that. So wait, we got to wait to see if the kid wins. I know he's beautiful. His talent is gorgeous. I mean, he is picture perfect. All right, so give me a free agent you expect to be a Miami Dolphin.
Oh, I wish I could tell you one of them. I mean, I'd like Teron Armstead. I know you're worried about him. I would like Ryan Jensen, the center. I would like a defensive end to replace Emmanuel Ogba. Maybe a Derek Barnett. I'm not as worried about the receiver position and even the running back position, although I would be very thrilled if they added a running back like a Ronald Jones. I know you think they don't need to spend there. So, look, it's just get me a Brendan Scherf, get me a Laken Tomlinson, just get me a Trent Brown, get me 3 if you can, at least 2 by Wednesday.
By the way, I disagree with you. I do think they need to get a running back. What I don't want is for you to spend a first-round pick on a running back, but a second or third rounder or a free agent, I have no problem with that. I think that's very important for the Dolphins. I think they have to add a back that you feel really, really good about. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I can see something like that. I can also see a Raheem Mostert also getting a contract from the Dolphins.
Yeah,
that would make a lot of sense.
That would not be a high price
No.
contract as he's coming off of injury, and obviously, who wouldn't want to be in South Florida? He's already been here once.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. All right, so you can't give me one free agent you feel really good about that you're hearing will be a Dolphin.
No, I think they're going to add a tackle, whether it's Armstead, Fisher, or Brown. There you go. One of those 3 guys will be a Dolphin: Armstead, Fisher, or Brown.
Okay. All right. There you go. What are you working on the Palm Beach Post, sir? So people can check your hate for Tua out.
You make it worse for me, Big O.
I know. That's the idea. That's what we do here. We stir it up, bro. That's kind of the idea. You know what I'm saying?
By the way, Lyle Collins, very intriguing right tackle. Amari Cooper.
You're not worried that he was missing drug tests and suspended for 5 games, and then another year where he had a hip injury for a whole year? Is there any concerns there? Like, I'm with you on Lyle Collins. The only thing is, I wouldn't trade a high pick for him. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to give him money. Is that the right way to look at it, or are you thinking you would trade a high pick for Lyle Collins?
That's a great question. I mean, you would have to really obviously do the background work, the leg work. You don't want to make a huge mistake. But from a talent perspective, that's such an upgrade.
Oh, it is.
And it's Tua's blind side. And I know you want to do everything you can to protect Tua's blind side. And we like Jesse Davis, but someone who's more proven and established than Jesse Davis.
Just scares me that the kid was dodging drug tests. That's not good.
No, I understand. You'd have to do the research. If you're comfortable with it, obviously you go ahead and move forward with it. They know they got to get 2, 3 really capable offensive linemen. So,
I agree. At least 2.
So that's what I'll write about at the Palm Beach Post website. I'm still focused on getting healthy, Big O, getting healthy for
you sound
free
good.
agency week.
You sound good. You got good energy, so you sound good. I like it. So that's good. You're improving. All right, so there you go.
3 out of 10 today. I'm a 6 out of 10.
There you go. Follow him on Twitter as Schad Joe. You can check out his hate for Tua right there on Twitter, and then of course subscribe at the Palm Beach Post.
Who's your ally, by the way? Who's in Tua NATO? Who is your ally?
I think Cam Wolf is a little bit on my
Big
side.
O show guest is aligned with you. One guy.
Cam. I think
Cam Wolf.
Cam Wolf, right? I think, right?
Okay.
I think Cam Wolf is the only one that is with
the only
me.
One. So
Huh?
you spend every segment with all your guests.
Oh, actually, Rappaport likes him too.
Yeah, well, come
Rappaport
on.
likes him. Rap Sheet
He
likes him.
doesn't watch him practice.
He likes him, bro. He likes him. Nick Perdomo back here likes him too.
Ian likes
Okay.
players based on who their agents are, which is what I would do if I was a national NFL insider. That's what I would do.
It's Steinberg, right? That's his guy, right?
Lee Steinberg and Chris Cabot.
Okay.
And
All right.
he also has Ryan Williams for marketing. So he has so many people on Team Tua. It is an army of support.
Dude, Ryan Williams is working with him?
Yeah, he's got Lee Steinberg and Athletes First.
I did not know that.
On the marketing side, two mega firms.
Okay.
Who do you think had him in a movie? You think Brian Flores liked that Tua had a movie about him on Fox? Of course he didn't like that.
Well, I mean, Flores is a loser. I mean, what can you say?
Oh,
He was jealous that Tua has a star. People love him. Flo was jealous of Tua. Tua's
enjoy
great.
your weekend, Big O.
All right, baby, you be good.
See you, bud.
Later. He was jealous of Tua. That's what it is. There's Joe Schad, baby, with his hate for Tua on the American Dream Lending Miami Dolphins report.
When you're ready